Good morning, everyone. This is Becky here at Aunt Beck's Creations, and I've come on to show how to stabilize your fabric. If you're having trouble stitching with it where it's kind of flimsy, I'm going to show you how to stabilize this. You can do this step before you start adding paints and things. You can stabilize by adding interfacing to the back. That's what I'm going to do. Before I put the interfacing on, I'm going to turn this over. I have a towel, a bath towel, on my ironing board just to protect my ironing board. We're going to turn this whole piece face down, the part that you've painted and did all your work on. Put it face down. And I've got the iron on a mid steam, but I'm not going to use any steam. And I'm just going to gently press out the wrinkles. And you don't want to spend a lot of time in one place because you've got polyester lace on the front if you used polyester lace. And I don't want to melt that. And getting the wrinkles out is very different than when we are going to apply the interfacing. When you're ironing to get wrinkles out, you press and you're moving the iron like this. When we get to the interfacing step, you do not want to do this. You want to go down 10 seconds, up, down, and up. You don't want to push it around when we get to the interfacing. So if you're wanting to press, this also heats the paint and sets it. If you use fabric paint or if you used acrylic paints, you just want to be careful if you used anything that's, that's why we put the towel down. We don't want to transfer paint or anything onto our ironing board. But at this point, it should be pretty much set. Okay, I'm going to pick my piece up and I'm going to move it down so I can do the other half here. Okay. I just want to get the wrinkles out as much as I can before I put the interfacing on, because the interfacing has glue which will adhere to this. And I'm going to use shirt tailoring. It's a Pellon product. It's made for collars and cuffs on shirts, but I use it in all of my, when I use interfacing, it's the interfacing I reach for. I just like the stability it gives me. I would not use it on a knit fabric. You really need to use an interfacing that's made for knits if you're into fabrics, clothing sewing. All right, and I'm going to show you. I buy my shirt tailor by the bolt. It's a luxury apparel, and that's the number. And it's, oh, I got it upside down. That's why it's coming out upside down. It's 950F. That's the number that's on the bolt. See, it says shirt tailor, fusible, and white. I guess it comes in black too. When you get your interfacing, if you don't buy a whole bolt, if you're only buying like 1 yard, make sure they give you a copy of the instructions. This is wrapped inside along with the interfacing, and you'll need this to refer back. And I keep this copy with my bolt. I have a new bolt sitting over there. This one's about used up. So what I've done, and I've cut a piece. Good morning, Janet. I've cut a piece of the fusible interfacing. And if you feel the interfacing, one side is smooth and soft, and one side is kind of rough and bumpy. Do not ever iron on the rough and bumpy side. That's where the glue is. You want to put that onto the back of your piece. So your piece is face down, so you can lay your interfacing on it. And I came up a little short in my cutting, but that's okay. That'll keep it from sticking to my towel. And I don't need the entire surface of this. You just want to kind of center this on. Don't worry about the wrinkles in this. They'll come out as we go. And again, when we're ironing the interfacing down, we do not want to do an ironing motion like you're trying to get wrinkles out, where you're pushing it around and around. Do not do that. You go straight down, straight up, move it over a little ways, straight down, straight up. You don't want to do the push around because that'll move everything, and you're wanting to adhere it. You're not wanting to iron anything out. Now, you need a damp pressing cloth, and what I have is I have this tub of water, because once your cloth becomes dry, you need to re-wet it. So get you a little tub with some water. And what I've got is one of Scott's old t-shirts. And I'm just going to wring it out to where this is just damp. The reason I'm doing this earlier in the day, this video here, is I want to stitch my circles on. And then this afternoon at 1 o'clock, I'll come back on and I'll show you how to cut this apart, and we'll just set the water aside because remember, we're going to reuse it. And you just take and you just lay this down on top of everything like so, and then we can iron this whole area. The iron is on the medium steam, and you just start. You hold that for about 10 seconds there. Lift it up and go up here. And you'll know if you've done it the right amount of time because where you were will be dry. Come back down here. Yeah, because we're right now underneath this damp cloth, we have our interfacing with the adhesive down on the back of the fabric. And we're melting that glue to the fabric. It says to do this for 10 to 15 seconds and then just move it. You know you've hit a fresh spot because it'll go shh. Like, shh, be quiet, like a librarian. Once I get this stabilizer on, I'm just going to mark what circles I want to add, with that spool that I'm using and the top off a Pringles jar. I'm going to mark some circles, and I'm going to sit and stitch on those while I'm sitting. My pressing cloth is getting kind of burnt and beat up, but that's okay. It still works. Just don't iron directly on the interfacing because it doesn't like that. It'll all draw up on you and ruin your piece. Make sure you have a pressing cloth. Janet, looks like you're the only one up right now, or everybody's watching somebody else. I didn't see anybody on right now. And I had been watching Sonia Steptoe in Australia. She was doing some stitching on her crazy quilt block this morning. And she puts up some nice long stitching videos. And since nobody was live, I said, well, I'm going to do this part real quick. And then hopefully everybody will catch it so they don't get lost between now and 1 o'clock. Because it's 6:24-ish right now. Scott just left for work a few minutes ago. It is really cold here. It's like minus 1.6 Celsius, 20 degrees, 27, 28 degrees Fahrenheit, or something like that. Oh, see, I left that probably too long because I picked up the cloth. What? Who's yowling? All right. Now I need to redampen my cloth. That's why I said keep your bucket handy. You were frozen and frosty. Hi, JL. Yeah, Scott has to be to work at 7 a.m. and he gets off at 3:30. And then he comes home on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and we eat dinner about 4:30 because he's got to be at the school at 6. Last night, he said he was going to try to cover a bunch, but he said everybody was falling asleep on him, so he wrapped up an hour early than he had planned to. All the guys in his class, they have jobs too, and so they come and they try to stay awake. Scott's a good teacher, though. He keeps things interesting. This is the slow part, getting this all, ironed down, because you got to go up and down on it. At 9 o'clock, I'm going to call the doctor's office down close to us and try to get us set up as patients there, because we can't seem to get an appointment at all with the nurse practitioner we had been seeing. And it's not her fault. It's the office people. They're rude, and our insurance doesn't work with her. So I looked up for a doctor that, the insurance would cover better. Hi, Eternity. How are you this morning? It's Safia. Good morning. So I hate to leave her, but plus this doctor's office is only like a little over a mile from the house. So when I'm sick, I won't have to drive very far. And hopefully I'll be able to get into this doctor. Now, when we lift this, because I got to do the other half, because remember, half of this is laying off. You want to just be real careful not to move or shift much. The bottom half will be glued on, so it shouldn't shift, but you just never know. I'm going to come up here because there's a spot I missed. I can't really see the chat from this far away. I'll look at it when I get done with this section. And you really want this to cool completely off before you start moving it around much too. It's got to be cool to the touch before you start moving it, just to make sure you're adhering well. Started watching a Netflix series a couple days ago, and I've wasted 2 days just sitting and watching that, trying to get my knee to quit hurting. I guess I'm going to have something done on it. But we'll see what this new doctor does. If I could get in with a leg doctor that would just give me another cortisone shot, I'd be good for a couple years. That's my theory. That shot of cortisone, though, in your knee, That hurts like a If you accidentally put this on the interfacing wrong side up, it'll be adhered to your pressing cloth. That's another reason to use the pressing cloth is you won't be on your iron then. I'm going to sit down for a minute and let my knee rest, and we'll let this cool off, and I'll chat. I think it's called The Haunted. It's about a magician's school. So this is still warm. That's really warm. I'll read chat for a little bit. I'm re-wetting my cloth in my bucket of water too. That's why you need to have a bucket, because as you put this down on a larger piece like this, you're going to have to re-wet your pressing cloth. Yeah, it's cold. Scott put on his winter coat to leave out, and he was saying burr, burr, burr the whole way to the truck. Yeah, it acts up, I think, when the weather changes. And I think that little flap that's come loose, the little pie-shaped wedge that's split off from my meniscus, is trying to get caught up under the kneecap. And that's just such a special feeling. That's fine, Safia. I'll be here a little bit longer. Basically, all I'm doing is adhering the interfacing to the back of our fabric, and then I'm going to flip it over and add my circles, which you guys, I showed you how to do that in the other video. I have started a playlist for this sort of stuff, but I haven't gotten the first 2 videos put into this playlist, but I'll do that when I sign off. For anybody that's new that wants to start this whole process from the beginning. And like I said, if you wanted to, you could put the interfacing on the back of your plain piece of fabric before you even start the game, the prompt game that we did. It seems to have adhered well. Got a little bit right there that's not, but in the areas I need it. And if it starts to come apart while you're stitching on it, go back to your iron and add it. And see, it is sticking to the ironing board a little bit. That's why you put the towel down. And I'm just going to pull this way. And you can see where the top of your iron was. So we just got to do this section up here. I'm just going to smooth it out the best I can with my hands, because you don't want to maneuver it too much. So we just got to do this little strip right across there, and then I'll have this adhered down. It's looking good. Looking good in the neighborhood. Oh, you're going to start yours next week. Okay. All right, let's squeeze the water out again. Yeah, I'll come over here on the towel in case I drip. I should have got one with a bigger opening at the top, but I was afraid the cats might flip it by the computer, and I didn't want to take that chance. And I always use the pressing cloth when I'm doing the interfacing, because I just don't want accidents happening. I have done the boo-boo of ironing the interfacing to my pressing cloth. I've done that before. All right, so we'll just finish this up here. I think I just got to go straight across the top. So I'll be looking for somebody to be live after this so I can sit and stitch my circles here. I'm going to try not to turn that video, that show on again, because I need to take a break from it because I couldn't get to sleep because my brain, this is why I can't watch scary movies. If I watch a scary movie, my brain takes the movie and creates more of the story that's more horrifying than the actual story ever was. And so last night, I will say this about the series. There is a lot of gore, sex, bad language. It's got a lot of vulgarity to it, but I just look past that at the storyline. It's not a little kids show, not at all. I am pressing firmly too. It helps that I can hear the second hand on that clock over there too. Let's see if I've got enough damp cloth to finish this at the top here. I think I do. I told Scott, I said, if you've got any more holy t-shirts, I'll take them and set them aside for pressing cloths because they work really good. Undershirts. What your main goal is to make sure you get the interfacing, the rough side to the back of your piece. You don't want to put it on the front or you'll be burying all that hard work you did under interfacing. And once the stuff adheres down, if it adheres well, it's not going to come off. I was watching Tiffany at Hoosier Handmade, and she's doing a stash. She did a stash busting kind of video yesterday where she talked about how many yards. See, I don't know how many yards I have in my stash, but she had like 600 and something yards. I think I probably have over 1,000 yards of fabric. Did I need to buy more fabric? No. But like most sewists will tell you, buying fabric is one hobby, using it is another. I've got all the fabric I got in the other day is pre-washed. I guess I should like do a count of it. All right. So if you rub your hand over, you can kind of tell where it hasn't adhered. I think I'm good. I just need to let this cool. I think I'm good here. It'll feel different. It won't feel like there's air between your piece and your interfacing. It'll feel like it's adhered. I can't really tell you what that feels like, but you can tell. You can really tell it's adhered well. That's good. And now if you wanted to, once this cools, you can flip it over and put your pressing cloth on the front of it. Hi, Ann. Hi, Cindy. Good morning. Haven't seen you in a while, girl. I watched you in your group chat with Peg and Vicky and them the other couple weeks ago, talking about what your plans were for the new year in Art Joy of Sharing. So this is pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over. So this is, see how it's all together now? Woo, it's all together. This stabilizes it so it's more stiff. You might find it easier to stitch on. I know I had already added a couple circles right here with my Pringles lid. And I just went around the spool and the Pringles lid with pencil. And I'm just going to stitch on my pencil line. All right. If you want to take your pressing cloth, get it wet again, and put it on the front and go over it again, you can, but it's not necessary. So this is our piece. And between now and 1 o'clock, I'm hoping to get all of my circles that I'm going to add just here and there. I'm not going to put a ton of circles because once we cut this into the components we need to make the bag, you'll add more stitching and stuff then. And remember, after the circles are stitched on, we still have the prompt add buttons. And the reason I'm not adding them now is because you don't know where your seam lines are going to be. So this afternoon, the goal will be to have your circle stitched by then if you can. If not, you can add your circles after the next step. We'll cut this apart into the components that we need, and I'll show you how to cut some batting to fit each segment, because I'm going to make another one of those rice bags like K3N Cloth Tales made. I had so much fun making that, and I want to make one for myself out of this as a project bag. And I will go to my stash and find some fabric that I can use for a lining that's just a plain fabric. It might be a floral print, but it'll be not stitched and painted on. So get your circle stitched. And if you don't want to do it right away, you don't have to. But my goal is to have my circles stitched. And I've got my little, I just looked for things I could make circles with. So that's a Pringles lid. And I see I might put a circle right there because there's nothing there. And then the spool for my leftover cotton. And I think I'll use another one of the variegated threads I have in my stitching set. So the circles will be all different colors as they go around too. Like where I did all my stitching on the hearts and things. So I'll just pick another one of those that's got these colors from my background in it. All right, so I'll see you guys at 1 o'clock. You want to learn how to sew, Cindy? I'm trying to do a few more sewing videos. I might do like videos of some sew-alongs. Oh, hi, Heather. How are you this morning? Are you nice and frozen up there in Nova Scotia? All right, dear friends, I'll see you at 1 o'clock. And thank you for coming so early. Go enjoy a first cuppa or a second. I'll talk to you at 1. Okay? Bye.